Hi family, welcome back to our channel.
Absolutely, and welcome to another installment of Life is But a Dream with the Makhs. My name is Makhs.
And I am Phetola Makhs. We'd like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every single one of you for watching our debut episode, for subscribing to our channel and leaving your heartwarming comments. Thank you so much. Please continue to like, to subscribe, and to comment.
And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yes.
So as you would have seen in our topic today, written below, today we are discussing 5 things that we wish we knew before we got married. Now, guys, I just want to tell you something very quickly. My wife and I, as much as we got engaged at a very young age, we went through 18 months of premarital counselling.
We're not lying.
Yet, we still felt like, man, I wish I knew that. It was crazy. So we're not an authority on the subject, but what we are doing is just sharing our experience. And we're sharing 5 things that we wish we knew before we got married.
Let's get into it.
All right.
It was the summer of 2008. She said, I would cook a lot of time with that date. Now raise it last 10 years of matrimonial cake. We celebrate. Now we're stronger together, never better. Go-getters, trendsetters, Black Panthers, the anthem. We the Makhs and we only getting better, ayy. Life is but a dream.
So babe, you always like to say to me, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Yeah, Miles Monroe,
right?
Yeah.
And I think what's important for every couple to do, we believe, is to define the purpose of your marriage.
Yeah.
You need to understand why you are getting married. I think, babe, that helps with the 5 years later asking yourself, why did we get married? As opposed to, why are we getting married? I knew why I was getting married, but wait.
I had no idea. I had no idea why I was getting married. I wanted to have sex legally.
Wow.
It was one of the things. But really, I really had no idea. I think coming into marriage, I knew that I wanted companionship. I knew that I wanted to come home to somebody. I knew that I wanted to call somebody my wife, but I didn't know why, which was an issue, because when you look at the purpose of anything in your life, it has to be bigger than you. And this is what I always say to my wife. I'm like, if a man hasn't found what he's willing to die for, he's not fit to live. And, the Bible speaks about husbands, you need to love your wives like Christ loved the church. And Christ died for the church. So essentially what it means is I needed to lay my life down for this union, which tells me again that the purpose of this is so much greater than me or anything in your life. It doesn't just have to be marriage, but when you actually look at the purpose of it, it has to be bigger than yourself. So so the first thing is really define what the purpose of your marriage is, which is something that I didn't feel like we did collectively, and I didn't do on my own. I had my own ideas of what marriage.
It needs to be a collective effort, because how can 2 walk together unless they're agreed? I had figured it out, but my husband hadn't, and I think that in the beginning it caused a lot of conflict. It caused a lot of tension, and as a result we had a lot of teething issues because we were not aligned.
Right.
Nothing. Okay,
cool.
Point number 2. Guys, plan your finances. I cannot stress this enough. So, this is going to sound very romantic to a lot of people. So,
first of all, it was very romantic. Guys, I was very romantic. I don't care what my wife says.
Really?
I was very romantic.
Really?
But go ahead.
So, let me tell you guys what happened. My husband sold his first car to pay lobola for me. And I mean, it sounds romantic, right? It sounds like this is a guy who's got it all figured out. This guy is committed. He's got, he's ready. He's ready, But that should have been a red flag for me, babe. That should have been a red flag for me. Because
tell them why.
Okay, urekisa koloi, and then what?
And then what's your plan, Abuti?
Okay, fine.
I could have also had a car, so we're gonna use yours. And we're gonna be good. Am I lying?
So I think that was it should have been a huge red flag, because we got married because purely out of
we
love.
were in love.
We were in love.
Yeah.
We didn't have a plan. We didn't know what 2 years from now was gonna look like.
Yeah.
We didn't even speak to a financial advisor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you have to plan your finances.
Here's the conversation that we're not having. I don't have the statistics, but I remember reading them.
Yeah.
That finances is one of the it's one of the leading reasons why people get divorced.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about it, but we need to talk about it, guys. Finances is a very serious thing. If you don't think it is, just get married broke and see what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Don't get married broke. I'm just saying that. You know what I'm saying? But like,
don't do it.
No, for real, don't do it, guys. It's a very serious thing. It's actually something that needs to be discussed, just like you're discussing your vision for your family, how you define the purpose of your marriage. You need to put finances in there for sure.
But people don't like to talk about finance, and I think especially as a woman, if you come into a conversation saying that I want a man who is financially established,
so you don't love me for me.
You see, that's the thing. It seems like you are a gold digger, babe. I'm not even talking about, those kind of financial challenges where people are like, this year we're not going on holiday because harna chele.
No, these are bread and butter issues.
Not being able to buy yogi sleep kadi 15.
Yeah. For sure.
Yogi sleep, guys.
For sure.
That causes man.
Yeah. And it's not to say if you find yourself in that place, that the love is lost.
Yes.
However,
because life happens.
Yes.
But from the gate.
Yeah, no. From the get, you guys just need to be like, listen, this is the kind of life we want to live, and so on and so forth. Talk about your finances. Be very aligned in your finances. Don't feel like this is something that you can put as a by the way conversation.
Yeah.
Have the difficult talk. Have the difficult talk.
And it's very uncomfortable.
Very important. It can be uncomfortable
it can be.
when it's not there. Because when it's there, then we can talk about it, right? Oh my gosh, next year we're going to Mykonos. Yeah, then it's a problem. All right. Number 3, we want to talk about intimacy, ladies and gentlemen. Have lots of sex. Guys, we are talking about married couples here.
And lots.
Have it. Very important, that thing.
Very important.
Oh, jeez. I love your enthusiasm, babe. Go for it. No, really, please. Go ahead.
So, guys, babe, I need to qualify. Right? So, take care of number 2, guys, first. Because I know this is a very controversial issue. Yeah. But guys who wants to have sex, like
cause I dry.
No, but seriously, you've taken care of number 2. Now, intimacy, guys, it is very important as a couple. I think what also intimacy does is, I always say to my husband that love is there, but it's always so important to like each other.
Yeah.
And I find that if you have a lot of sex, you like each other a lot more. You like each other a lot more.
Because it's possible to love
each other, but not like each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find that what sex also does is that it brings you closer together.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the way God designed sex was to, obviously, for there to be a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
That's why, people talk about soul ties, because your souls are woven together. It's a deeper sense of communication. It's spiritual, man.
Yeah. It's deep, this thing.
Yeah. And the stress part, it reduces stress.
It reduces stress, yeah.
It's like
you're gonna just say it reduces stress. Like we didn't have a whole conversation before shooting this. Guys, sex reduces stress. It does. You just feel your whole everything is just like, woo, you know what? I can go out and I can conquer anything the next day. I'm ready.
Go out
right?
to sleep.
Yeah? No, you said the next day, babes. You said not after. The morning.
Okay.
Ne?
And
that was a lot of stress.
The thing is, for women though, when we are stressed, well, I don't know about other women. Let me speak for myself. When I am stressed, sex is the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
So for me, I want there to be a conducive environment at home to have sex.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Point number 4, communicate. Communication is so important.
And it sounds very cliched because we hear it a lot.
And it sounds easy.
Yeah. You go to every seminar.
And then you get married. Go ahead.
You go to every seminar, you listen to every marriage counseling tape, every marriage counselor, they will say communicate.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy.
Because there's how.
I think the how is very important.
It's
for me,
the most important.
I've learned the how in marriage. So before we got married, I come from a family where they believe in straight talk, right? My mom likes to say, straight talk never breaks.
I don't know.
Straight talk
doesn't your mom?
break.
I don't know. What? Do you guys know that saying? I don't know that saying. Straight talk breaks a lot of things, guys. Don't let them lie to you. Straight talk breaks things.
My mom used to say straight talk doesn't break any friendship, but I learned in marriage that the how you communicate is very important. I used to be the tell it like it is kind of girl. When I walked into marriage, if I didn't like something, I would say it to my husband, and he would say to me, babe, your approach is wrong, and it took me a very long time for it to click, because what I noticed, babe, was that when my approach wasn't right, there was a blockage. And if anything, you would rebel.
Basutu, that what my wife wants to say is nekingala. That's what she wants to say.
Not even hongala.
Speak to your friends to translate.
No, not even hongala. But not even hongala, babe. But I think you'd reject.
Yeah.
You would reject what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Because the approach was completely wrong.
Yeah.
Till today, it's something that I'm learning, but I think I've gotten so much better.
Look, I think we're both learning it. You know what I mean? And it's also just about communicating your expectations.
Yeah.
Because that's often where we get things wrong. You're coming like a bulldog into a conversation.
A what?
Because like a bulldog.
Okay.
Into a conversation because you haven't communicated your expectation. And so 9 times out of 10, it doesn't matter what approach you come into the conversation with because you haven't communicated your expectation. Now, this is the important thing, at least for us. We had some very deep conversations, maybe about like a year ago or 2 years ago when we were just kind of not seeing eye to eye. And we came to the realization that you come back to yourself.
Yeah.
We're all for compromise. We are all for, meet the other person halfway, but don't let it be at the expense of who you are.
Yeah.
Because who you are has to remain consistent. Who you are has to be communicated. This is who I am. This is what I believe to be right. These are my values. These are my expectations. I'm communicating them to you. Understand the temperature. Don't now be surprised when I'm like, no, but I did communicate this to you. Secondly, you're also empowering the next person to make a decision for themselves to say, you know what, this is something that I actually align with, or it's not really so much. Maybe we need to go back to the drawing board on this marriage thing and see, is it really something that we want to get into?
Sure. When it comes to expectations, what often happens is that our expectations are shaped by a lot of external factors. Society,
your past,
upbringing, your history, your past relationships. I grew up in a family of teachers. My mom and my dad were both teachers. So they would come home at 2 p.m.
Not a.m., p.m.
At 2 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
And holidays, they were home. So I think I got a rude awakening when I got married.
She married an artist.
Mabalala ziyavuga.
She married a Tigolosh.
And that really caused a lot of friction.
It did.
And because it wasn't an expectation that we spoke about.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I had this picture that I saw at home of my parents coming home at a certain time.
And it was obvious.
It was obvious for
Yeah.
even for us.
Right. And I grew up in a home, my dad being an artist as well, would leave home 3 months, 6 months because he's doing a job in whatever country or whatever, and he would come back. My wife would die.
I would die.
A very quick death if I had to leave for 6 months.
Yeah, look at
And that's the thing, you know what I mean? And so these are the things that we don't know to talk about. But over time, after you're exhausted because you're exhausted, you're tired of fighting all the time.
Yeah.
Eventually you sit down and you're like, actually, it's not a big deal. It's just that we didn't communicate our expectations.
That's so true.
Yeah. All right. And our last point, very important, this one, guys.
Do fight.
Yeah.
Getting the ring.
Absolutely. Do fight, but make sure that you fight fair. Even if you're looking at a boxing match, guys, there are rules that everybody needs to abide by in order to make sure that the fight is fair. So in your marriage, make sure that you fight fair. What fighting fair looks like for you, the two of you need to work that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to work that out because we're such different personalities.
Fighting fair is fighting in love.
Yeah.
I think it might sound a bit confusing, when we're saying fight in love, because when you're fighting, you're angry. You're fighting because you're upset about something. You're fighting because there was an expectation that was not met and you are frustrated. So now we're coming to you and saying you need to fight fair. But it has worked for us, and basically what we mean by fighting fair is always be kind. Always be kind to each other, because you don't want to say something that you'll have to come back and apologize for. And babe, you've really taught me this great lesson of time out. So we're very different. I'm one person. Hake kwatile. Hi guys.
I'ma tell you like it is.
But you've taught me to breathe, to sleep on it. And I find that once I've slept on something, like we said,
the perspective is different.
Like we said previously in the how, you are more receptive, because now I'm not coming at you, but we are having a mature conversation. So always rebuke each other in love.
Correct each other in love.
Because you don't want to find yourselves in a situation where you have hurt each other so much with words that you can't repair the damage.
You can't take it back.
Or you wake up 10 years later and you look back at the past 10 years and how you just broke each other up with the words.
Or that one thing you said 10 years ago, your spouse remembers and they're like, I actually can't believe that you have it in you to say something like this to me. So always be kind to each other, because sometimes what we often do as people is when we're upset at each other, we neglect our responsibilities. So I'll give you this example. I think this is a great example. Example. It's an example, guys, but
it's a great one. So if you are a husband who's used to giving your wife...
This is an example. I don't know what she's about to say, but it's an example. Maybe we must flip it that way. Okay, yeah. If you're a husband...
If you are a husband who is used to giving his wife... wife allowance.
Sure.
Wife allowance.
Yeah.
Just because you're upset with her doesn't mean that you have to stop with the wife allowance.
I agree,
because that is abuse of power.
It is abusive.
It is abuse of power, and sometimes in relationships, what we do is because we feel so justified, because we're upset. We might hold back certain things. Some people use sex. Some people use affection. Some people use money.
Some people use dishing out for you.
It's
an example.
I'm cooking and I'm not. Come on.
So it's like if we're upset with each other and my wife cooks and then she cooks for herself and the kids, and she says, "No, you will see to finish, chief."
That's not.
I
right.
get you are. Eh?
That's not right.
Yeah,
You know,
that's not right.
It's not right.
That's not right.
Yeah, and I think what that does is, like we spoke about it earlier. Whatever you do, you want to preserve that liking of each other.
The last point I wanted to make was you need to always make sure that you are aligned as far as your goals.
Yes.
Right? So if you've got the same end goal, then your fighting becomes much easier because you're just like, look, we are headed towards the same destination. All right. So by all means, let's have at it. Yes, we agreed. We agreed that as a family, this is what we do. This is how we want to live. This is how we so on and so forth. So I'm not fighting for myself and my own selfish needs and wants. I'm fighting for what we have agreed we want to be and do as a family. So those were our 5 points in our infinite wisdom of marriage, because we've been married for 10 years and we've got everything figured out. We've got nothing figured out. We have got no idea what we're doing half the time. But you know what? Because we love each other, that's half the job done. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we'll figure everything else out. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for joining us.
so much for joining us.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation today that we had.
I really enjoyed chatting to you, babe.
I feel like this is opening up a whole lot of conversation between us, you know. But it's good to know that we're aligned. I feel like we are.
I think it's also because we like each other.
Yes. Today, we like each other
every
a lot.
day, guys.
Guys, thank you so much for engaging with us. Thank you for watching our second. My wife doesn't want me to call it an episode, so thank you for watching our second installment.
Yes.
Of Life is But a Dream with the Makhs. Thank you to everybody that's subscribed. Thank you to everybody that continues to comment and engage with us. We've got no idea what we're going to talk about in our next episode, but maybe you guys can suggest. You know, maybe you want to ask us some questions. Maybe
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? That would be really cool. Peace and blessings. We love you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys have quickly become family.
Yes.
And we can't wait to engage with you next week. So click that click that, subscribe,
comment,
share, tell somebody to tell somebody, and we will see you guys next week. All right.
Bye.
Peace and blessings. It was too real.